All right, everybody, welcome back to episode 3 of our podcast. We're going to dive right into it today because that seems to do really well for us. Today's question, do you tend to prefer the lyrics of a song or the melody? John, what do you think? Oh, wait,
or rather,
start it. Or start the timer.
Or rather, the lyrics or the music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lyrics or the music.
This is something that we wrote down on our notes of a question that we wanted to ask ourselves and see what you guys think. Because lately we've been trying to promote new songs that me and Joseph have written, and we've been sending them out to people that we think are important to people that we value their opinion, and we've just noticed that like people will come back and be critical of one or the other, or they'll like both the music and the lyrics, or they'll like one or the other more. And I've realized that there are people out there that tend to like the lyrics more than the music, or the music more than the lyrics. Or not necessarily that they like one thing or the other more, but it's just what catches their attention first and what kind of hits them about the song. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What is your preference?
I think overall music.
I'd agree with that. To be honest, most of the time, I really couldn't care less about their lyrics as long as it sounds cool. Mm-hmm. But I mean, there are songs that obviously resonate with myself, and I'm sure a lot of people, where the lyrics are really, really meaningful, but that's not the very first thing that I ever look for.
Yeah.
I think that there's tons and tons of songs that are all-time great songs that are just complete gibberish. Like, one of my favorites is Champagne Supernova by Oasis.
Yeah.
It's walking slowly down the hall faster than a cannonball. That makes zero sense. That doesn't mean anything.
Neither does Champagne Supernova in the Sky, does it?
No, doesn't mean anything. And it's a great, great song.
It's a great song. That's one of the best songs. But I was thinking, you mentioned Oasis. They seem to do that a good amount.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they're great.
I think it just goes to show that as long as you write a great song, it doesn't really matter what it's about, as long as it sounds cool.
Yeah. I was thinking about it too. There's songs that the music's good. There's songs that... So, for example, a friend of mine sent me a song 2 nights ago and said, I'm just curious to see what you think of this song. And it was a Troye Sivan song. I think that's how you say his name. And he's good. I like him. But this song she really liked and sent it to me. And there was like nothing interesting musical going on with it. So that nothing in the music caught me. And then the lyrics were good, but it was like I had to sit there and like pay attention. I had to like really be like, what's he saying? And then I was like, well, I guess I see that you like the lyrics, but I'm never going to listen to this again.
Yeah.
Because like it just isn't doing anything for me.
Right.
So, but it's just interesting because obviously she loves the lyrics of that song, but I'm never going to listen to it again. It didn't catch me in any way.
I think that that's kind of the power of the actual song, like the music behind what's going on with the lyrics, because the lyrics can be, at least in my mind, lyrics can be the best lyrics ever written, but if the song is boring as hell, why would I sit there and listen to it for 4 minutes?
Exactly. But there are people that will think it's great if the lyrics are the best lyrics that they've ever heard, right? Like, yeah. I think there's plenty of people, you know, the average pop crowd wants to hear a hook. They want to hear a hooky melody, which when we're talking about hooks, we're talking about something that pulls you in, right? Something that's catchy. People who listen to pop music, or just the average person, they want to hear a hook. They want to hear something that's going to pull them in, whether that's the melody or something in the melody of the instrumentation. But some people, I guess, are pulled in by the lyrics, and there's a lot of songs and a lot of artists and a lot of people that would rather listen to something like that. My dad's kind of like that. Mm-hmm. I don't think he really gets pulled in with the music. I think it's more all about the lyrics to him, and he reads like the liner notes of those records and reads the lyrics. It's
really interesting because your dad listens to a ton of really different things.
Yeah.
Like the last time I was over at your house when you weren't there, it was me and my dad and your dad hanging. He showed us this album where like they only played bass and like all of the songs were just bass. Like every single song. And it was like, it was cool. Like it was fine musically. Mm-hmm. But it was just funny because when I hear that kind of music, I'm like, oh, he's listening to this for the actual music part of it because it's quirky, because it's just bass. But yeah, hearing you talk about how he's more into like lyrics and stuff is kind of interesting. Kind of
if
cool.
There's lyrics, I think he's more into the lyrics than he is the music. But then I was thinking about it again. maybe you can think of an example, but I was in the shower thinking about an example of a song where the music is good, but it isn't the music that pulls you in. Maybe it's the melody of the lyrics, but I feel like there's songs where the opening line is just like, okay, like they've got me. This is going to be a story, and I'm ready to hear this story, rather than something that's like deep or meaningful to the person, or something you have to like dig really deep to figure out what the meaning is to you. And I was thinking about this song called Tempted by Squeeze, which I'm sure you've heard, and it just starts with this line that says, I brought a toothbrush, some toothpaste, a flannel for my face. And you're just kind of like, okay, like, where's he going? Where did he go? Like, and then it's just this whole story, and the chorus just pays off with these amazing lines. And so there's songs like that where even though the music means more to me, it's like, okay. But I think that song, the melody tricks you into thinking that the lyrics are important, when I don't know if the lyrics do matter. If he sang the same melody with different lyrics and they were meaningless, I think it still would be just as good, maybe. It'd be almost as good.
Yeah. No, I agree. I was actually just thinking about this as you were saying that. Another example of like people who, at least an example of people who can do both, I think, are like the Beatles. You listen to half of their songs and it's just complete gibberish and means maybe something. I'm not smart enough to dissect it and understand what it means, but like, you know, Come Together, that song is complete gibberish, and it's like a all-time song that everybody just loves. Yeah.
Well, they're great with instrumental melodies and hooks too. But yeah, they're like Oasis, where it's like, I mean, Oasis is like them, whatever. They sing great melodies.
Yeah.
And it's just like catchy, no matter what they're doing, what they're saying. It's just so catchy. They're really great at that.
Yeah. It is really interesting though how different people's opinions on that stuff can be, because you're totally right. Like, I know a ton of people who the lyrics are like everything to the song, even if the song is super, super boring.
Yeah.
That's how I'm starting to feel about...
I can't get into that.
That's how I'm starting to feel about a lot of pop music, actually. Is like, I think that there's a ton of stuff that's just super, super boring musically, but like, I understand, I guess, why people are like really into the lyrics.
You have an example? Because I think pop has always been, not always, but I feel like it's just hooks now.
It is hooks. I don't know, like we watch the Vivo channel for pop music sometimes, and I think that a lot of those songs are just like, the lyrics mean something to people because they're like trying really hard to be relatable. Like there's that one song, who is it? Fletcher, where she's like talking about wanting to be young and party the whole time. And like, I don't think that those lyrics are like objectively meaningful, but I think that it means something to a lot of people because that's what a lot of people really want.
Yeah.
Are striving for.
Yeah, you're right.
And I think that song is really boring musically.
Yeah, but it does have that hook. I think that chorus is hooky enough.
Yeah.
For people to, but you're right. I think that it's like just hooky enough, and then it says that line. Sometimes there's lyrics that are so, and I'm not insulting anyone's lyrics because mine aren't, that profound, but it's like some lyrics are so like dumbed down that everyone's going to understand what they're talking about right away. And if there's like enough of a hooky melody, then it's going to be popular, right?
Yeah.
I haven't heard that song anywhere except for that Vivo channel though. So.
I haven't either.
So.
Oh man, that Vivo channel.
Check it out. Fletcher. I don't remember what it's called, but I've never heard of her, but we just started seeing her on there. So.
Yeah.
And then of course, like, me and Joseph grew up on pop punk music, a lot of Blink-182 and stuff like that. And that music, it was so, at least at first, it was so not about the lyrics for me. It was like, this song makes me feel like I'm on a roller coaster, and that's why I like it. It makes me feel like I want to, I don't know. It just makes you feel like you want to just go like jump off some stuff and do like a 360 or something like that.
Just do a 360 tail grab with no board.
When you were in like third grade and you jumped up and touched the top of the door and you were the coolest kid ever?
Dude, yeah.
That's what Blink-182 makes you want to do. It makes you want to do stuff like that. Stuff that isn't actually cool, but jumping over a fence maybe.
I will say that there is something to be said for being caught loving the music and that drawing you into the song and then appreciating the lyrics later.
Yeah, because none of their lyrics are like just terrible.
No.
They all mean something. So that's another thing. Like there's lyrics like theirs where it's like they're not going to do anything insanely profound, although there are some moments like that. But then every song's got some good pop lyrics. You know, you can't really complain about it. You can say that it's maybe too juvenile, but it's the initial music that makes you, it draws you in, especially as a kid that plays guitar. So, but again, back to the initial thing. It's like we've been sending our songs out to people. What do you guys think of these? You know, some people they're like, oh wow, that bass that you're doing is so good, or the guitar. And then some people are like, you know, they're more into like the lyrics. And so they'll be like, I wish that the lyrics started sooner or something. You know what I mean? It's like they're waiting for the lyrics to start, when in reality, it's like we're trying to hook people in with the music first, maybe. Just not even intentionally. It's just like maybe what we're doing because we think it's the right thing to do.
That's also just how we write.
Yeah.
You know, we're huge into the music side of it. And as long as the music that's kind of what drives us, I think, is that, you know, if we come up with a song idea, I can't think of a time that lyrics were written and then we're like, all right, we got to put a song around this.
It's never happened.
It's always been, we're sitting there jamming, something catches our ear and we're like, all right, this is the music, this is awesome. And then the lyrics come after. And like, obviously we want to do right by the song.
Yeah, I wouldn't be against doing it the other way. It's just not as easy for us.
It just doesn't happen.
Yeah. Which, again, it would be cool to do both, because like, how often have you been sitting there late at night or wherever and you write down something cool? Mm-hmm. But then it's like, so it's not rare, but it's pretty rare for us that we end up using that line for something. It's like the lines usually just come out of the song after we write the music, and we don't end up using these profound lines that we might write down late at night or during the day or whatever it is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, man. But what do you think people prefer most in general? Do you think that it's more of a pop thing, that people just like listen to the hooks and don't really care about the music, or do you think it's genre specific?
I definitely think that people prefer melodies 100%.
Okay.
Overall, I think I just have a lot of friends who are really into lyrics, but I think that even though we're songwriters, at least myself, I think I'm just an average listener. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. If I hear a pop song, it's got a catchy hook, I'm not going to be like, yeah, but those lyrics are just horrible. Like, if it's catchy, I like it. And I think the average person likes it the most.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I just keep thinking about genres being different too, because the more that we kind of pile onto this, I think about like, you know, bands in the 80s. I don't think that anybody really cared at all what the lyrics were. Like, you hear that heavy rock riff, you know, Van Halen singing about, like, shout out Bill Burr, like their balls and the devil. That's like one of his jokes that he says that Van Halen would like sing about, or maybe AC/DC or
Running
something.
with the devil. I don't know if they mention their balls in that.
Well, they obviously don't, but he was making a joke.
Oh yeah.
He was making a joke about how they're just like saying stuff.
Well, but the 80s, it's like that line hooks you in though. It's like, it's catchy. It probably could have been something else too, but it's the 80s. And so they were like running with the devil. You know what I mean? Like that, that's the line. It hooks you in. I think that song's full of lyrical hooks.
The song
At least that song. Yeah. So, but I actually want to go back to what do I think most people prefer? Mm-hmm. Because I realized I think people prefer melodies, but the average listener wants to hear some singing like pretty soon into the song. They're not usually interested in hearing like a minute-long intro of instrumentation. I think the average listener is like ready to hear some lyrics. They might not be too worried about what they are once they come in, if they're catchy and they've got a hooky melody, but the average listener is like, they want to hear some singing. And most of them want a good sounding singer. Yeah. You know, especially if you're not like a band that has fame yet. Like they would rather the average listener wants you to be a good sounding singer, you know?
Absolutely. Do you think that that's because like, I'm trying to like think of a way to like say this, or articulate this better, but I guess for lack of a better term, do you think that it's because like, as you're coming up as an artist, or like even as an artist, the average listener just like wants to be, especially in today's day and age where like on social media, you can get connected with anybody, they just want to feel like connected to you? Or do you think that it's just because their attention span is like, I got to hear some singing, I got to hear like something happening?
Yeah, maybe it's a little bit of both. Because like if you're not a musician, you're gonna want to hear something that connects the music to you. And I feel like if you don't play anything, you're not gonna be interested in this like violin intro for like a minute.
Right.
Whereas if you're like a violinist, you might be like, cool, whatever. Like they're doing some cool stuff here. So the most relatable thing to a non-musician might be some singing, right? Because it's like words.
That's actually a really good point.
I don't know. Maybe that's it. And then what was the other thing? It was that or what?
I guess feeling connected, or was that the one you were going off of? I said feeling connected to like the singer, like as a person, just because I think that a lot of people want to feel some sort of connection, or like, you know, they're your friend or something like that. And like hearing you do the thing is like cool for them. And then the other thing is attention span.
Yeah. Attention span's definitely a thing, right?
I would assume so. I don't think that a lot of people want to sit there in their car on the way to work and listen to just the instruments and not hear something happen.
Yeah. There's a good like balance, right? Though it's like sometimes it gets frustrating, especially in being around so many good songwriters. Some people tend to set like rules for themselves. And I agree. It's like sometimes you don't want every song you write, especially if it's pop, to be longer than 4 minutes. 4 minutes is even pushing it. But I do think it's like if a song's good and every part of it's catchy and you feel like you've done the best you can and it's done, there's no reason to shorten that song.
I agree.
You know? I don't think you should, and no one should overthink it. I don't think it's going to prevent you from being successful. For example, there's plenty of radio edits for songs. Radio edit being they shorten it, they take out a part of the song, and it's still a huge hit, like Semi-Charmed Life by Third Eye Blind. That was like maybe the biggest song that year, or one of the biggest songs that year. And in the radio edit, they take out an entire section of the song because the song is super long. It's like 4 minutes, 30 seconds or something like that. And for it to be like a radio friendly song, they just took out like one of the bridges of the song. Still a hit. It didn't prevent them from succeeding, you know?
Absolutely.
I know it's a different industry now, but I just think if a song's good, it's gonna go somewhere, and the radio or, you know, whatever will do what they need to do with it to make it friendly for, not that radio's like that relevant anymore, but whoever will do whatever it takes to make it work for the platform that it needs to be on to make it huge.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I wonder how much more we're going to be seeing of like, you know, I'm sure we're going to see still a ton of radio edit stuff, but like, I feel like even though radio maybe isn't as relevant anymore, people still write songs and like producers produce songs in a way that's still very much directed towards that.
Yeah, I actually kind of was thinking about that. Since radio's not as relevant, I'm sure that people now try to, maybe that's why people are trying to write shorter songs, because the radio is not going to like edit it for them and say that, no, this is going to work better, because who's going to do it, right? Spotify, I don't think, is like telling you to shorten songs to make it a hit. But I feel like, I can't think of any examples right now, but I feel like I've seen something come out in the last 5 years where it was like that. Like they had two versions of the song. Actually, no, I think of two examples. There's that new song by The Killers called Caution, which has a stupid long intro. Even for my personal taste, where I do enjoy a good long intro sometimes, I don't even know what that is. It's just like chords and synth, and I mean, I guess it's vibey, it's cool, but it's just like, dude, just start the song. So they have like a shortened version. I forget what it's called, but they just have a shortened version. And then that 1975 song, If You're Too Shy, Let Me Know, that has a shortened version as well, because it also has a stupid long intro before the song actually starts. So people are still doing stuff like that. I think it still is called radio edit, though.
Yeah, I think you're right. But it's just funny seeing that, because the goal is still like to get on the radio, and people have to cut down songs and do what they do. Because I mean, we write songs all the time, and we're always worried about that because we're so small, and we could very easily write, 4.5 minute songs that to us are like awesome.
Yeah.
But we always have to constantly be like, okay, is this going to like keep people like engaged?
Yeah.
And when we send our stuff out, sometimes people are like, oh yeah, you could take this thing off.
Yeah.
You could get rid of this or change this.
Yeah.
And we're just like, ugh.
Yeah. We have a song coming out at the end of the month here, and we've had a couple people tell us at first it was too long. Like, admittedly, it was just too long of a song. And then someone said, well, yeah, why don't you shorten that up? And so we were like, okay, so we shortened it. And then we sent it to someone else and they were like, it's still kind of long. And we were just like, we're not going to shorten it anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's already as short as it should be, honestly. Sometimes if you make too many compromises, it ends up sounding weird. So we didn't want to do that.
Yeah, not being the song that you want it to be.
Yeah.
And that's what's most important to us as artists. For real.
Yeah. Well, out of time.
2, 1. There we go. Awesome. And yep, turning the timer off.
Hey, we've really been, it's actually really cool to see some people engaging in the comments. We saw some people engage last time with our last thing. We were talking about what you wanted to be when you were younger, when you grew up. And we had like 3 or 4 comments, people engaging. And so engage in this. We think this is like a really interesting topic, actually. That's why we're talking about it. Seriously, do you guys like the lyrics or the music better? What tends to grab you first? What's more important to you? So let us know in the comments.
Yeah, let us know. We do have a song coming out August 28th at the end of this month. It's, She Moves Around. It's a good one. We're very, very excited to release this one out to everybody. So make sure that you go to our website, johnandjoe.com, pre-save and follow on Spotify through our website, and check out our social medias because we're getting ready to pump this song out. Have a good time doing it. Thanks everybody for listening. John and Joe.
You frustrate me. I can't complain. You feel the same about me, and you know that's true. Yeah, you know